It's the night before Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm really struggling. I've tried to record this video multiple times and it never feels authentic, like with the typical YouTube setup and like the professional lighting in the background because of the stuff that I'm talking about. I just feel like this is the most personal and like authentic and comfortable for me, and I hope you guys don't mind. It all started with a conversation that I had with a friend of mine. She's a really close friend of mine, and she also just lost a really close family member within the year. And so we're coming up on the major holidays, and her and I agreed that this is really hard. So if you've seen some of my recent videos, then you know that my father died in April of this year from liver failure, and we knew that he was dying. It didn't make it any easier. And I'm just kind of grappling with, the aftermath of his long illness and his death. So what you don't know is that my dad is the fifth in my family to die in the last 2 years. And a lot of these people who have passed away were really close to me. Two of them were my grandmothers. So both my paternal grandmother and my maternal grandmother died within a couple of months of each other. And Thanksgiving is really, really hard for me because I was actually on my way to my paternal grandmother's house when she died. And my maternal grandmother has always been the house that we went to and like the main cook for the entire family my whole life. Like I know nothing else. And last year was pretty weird, like without her. This year is even worse. I mean, I have other family members that, of course, like I'm going to be around and we're going to be, celebrating together. But I just feel like something is missing. And I don't know if I'm ever going to feel like good again with the holidays. I don't know if I'm ever going to like really enjoy it the way that we did growing up without these like heavy hitting people in my life. I mean, I think about with my grandmother who was the cook, we're never going to taste her food again. I mean, we could try our best to like get it like how she made it, but at the end of the day, like we're never going to eat her food again. And that is really hard to deal with. And I don't know, do you guys feel like that? Like with the people that you have lost, do you feel like how do you work through the fact that you're not only not going to be with that person, but like the traditions and customs and like food and all the things that were associated with that person are also gone? Like, yeah, like how do you deal with that? Like it's almost weird, like the food that we eat on Thanksgiving since my grandmother has died, I don't even want to eat it. Like it sounds so ridiculous and it's not about the food, but like I don't want to eat anything else on Thanksgiving. I'm naturally a pretty positive person, and I feel like in my life, with my mental health and everything, the thing that has really healed me mentally has been to practice gratitude. A part of that comes from just being a Christian and like really honing in on my walk with Christ. But gratitude has changed me and healed me in so many ways. And so on a holiday like Thanksgiving, where we are practicing that gratitude and like putting it at the forefront, I am definitely grateful for my life, obviously just like being alive, and for the people that are around me. It's kind of like cognitive dissonance in a way where like I feel both things at the same time. Like I feel very happy that I have a beautiful newborn son who I get to share like his first Thanksgiving with, and just be able to be around the people that are still alive. And but then on the other hand, there is still this like weird dark like feeling that it's never going to be the same. Like yeah, it's never going to be the same. One other thing that I was thinking about that could be a positive, I mean, I think if you guys have had this, sort of problem like with your family members, like definitely let me know, because with my dad, he was an alcoholic. The first illness that he got as a result of his alcoholism was pancreatitis. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically just like inflammation of the pancreas. It can happen without alcoholism, but it's like one of the big ones that happens if you are an alcoholic. And so with his, advanced and chronic pancreatitis, he developed diabetes. And the thing about the pancreas is that it is really important for digesting food as well. So it produces enzymes and things that help you to digest food. And so because his pancreas was not working, he had a really hard time with any meals. He lost a bunch of weight. He couldn't really eat anything. He had to be very careful with what he ate. And because of that, like when thinking about Thanksgiving, one of the stressors for me was, what is my dad going to eat? And he would always be such a good sport, and he would want to show up, even though he was sick and in pain and all the things, he would still want to show up. And I would always feel guilty about two things. The first thing would be the food, like I said, but then also, people drink, on Thanksgiving, and I would always feel so, I guess, guilty. Like, number one, if I drink alcohol, or if like people around were drinking alcohol, because he was trying really hard not to. So on the one hand, like, I hate to say it, but like I'm a little bit relieved that my dad is not here for like this holiday season, because it was becoming quite a stressor for me. Like, just knowing that he would have a hard time, like whether it be with the food or the alcohol, it would just be, something that was always in the back of my mind, and inviting him to things and like being with him. I know that wasn't my burden to carry, but naturally, as his daughter and someone who loved him, I just wanted him to enjoy himself, and I wanted him to like be normal. I wanted him to like just enjoy it the way that we got to. And it was just so hard at the end to see him be so skinny and like so sick. As a Christian, I do believe that there's a lot of power in your words, and I feel, guilty just even saying that, life is never going to be the same and all this stuff. Like, life doesn't have to stay the same in order for it to be a good life. I have decided to believe that although, Thanksgiving and the other holidays are never going to be the same because those people aren't there anymore, that we will create new memories and new traditions, and something good can still come from, the things that we come up with. And it's going to take time. And number one, I know that there's a lot of healing that still needs to happen, and just kind of like accepting the reality that they aren't with us anymore. But I do believe that over time, we'll be able to create, new traditions, and maybe we don't have to eat the food that my grandmother used to make. Maybe we just make different food and, start a different trend. But I know that it's going to take time. I hope you guys are having a good start to the holiday season. If you are feeling like me, I both apologize and feel kind of good because I know I'm not alone. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys.